I just want to give a brief tour here of the material science and biomedical engineering areas of Phillips Hall. So this is the front of Phillips Hall. The parking lot where faculty park is in the back of the building. So this is one of the front doors. In the entryway here, sort of a lobby area. Over on the right here is the Bird Museum, which has hundreds of birds. So if you're interested in seeing taxidermy of lots of birds, there's lots of those there. On this other side over here is what's called 007, which is a large lecture hall which seats about 120 students. And then this walkway here goes over Little Niagara, which is a creek that runs right through campus. So not frozen over, not cold enough to be frozen over right now. Oftentimes we'll see ducks and things like that in the water. Biology uses the stream for monitoring and things like that, so they do experiments within the water. And then it's just the other side. So it's a nice area. The seating here is for students. So non-COVID times, there'll be lots of students between classes sitting out there studying, sometimes just lounging. As we go through here then, we'll enter the main part of Phillips Hall. So down that way are the two major classrooms that seat about 72 to 75 students each. So restrooms here on the right, drinking fountain, and then the door right there on the left, and then another in the alcove down beyond that is the other entry to the 72 seats. Classroom, and then down that other hallway there was the computer science and geology departments, their faculty offices. As we go down through here, we'll go in a lab here on the left, which is a shared space of material science and geology. So this front area here is used by geology for rock crushing, things like that. Some hoods in the back. In this room we have our X-ray fluorescence system. So this is the wavelength dispersive. And also we have some extra room there that we'll probably use for additional instrumentation. And then through this other door here is our access to the ICP-MS, the inductively coupled mass spectrometer. And so because this does parts per million, parts per billion analysis, the air handling is special in here, so we keep these doors closed. So this instrument has an auto sampler on the right. So we use this working with industry. It's also used a lot for geology, looking at rock samples, water samples, all kinds of different types of samples. In here is just a lab prep area for preparing samples to go in the ICP-MS. So basically a chemical, usually a acid digestion system to make the samples. So if you're looking at rock samples, they all have to be in liquid form in order to run through the ICP-MS. Back out where we came in. So this is Phillips 108, so you might hear us sometimes refer to the name of the classroom or the number of the classroom. As we come down here then, we have our materials processing lab, which right now consists of several 3D printers. That's one of my students, Grace.
One of my students.
She's been doing research with me for 3 or 4 years now, I guess. She'll be graduating in May. So different 3D printers, Markforged, some Stratasys systems, some Ultimakers over here. We use these for both research. I'm doing printing anatomical models. So right now we're trying to print 2 kidneys there. The students did the segmented the DICOM files in class, and I'm just printing some additional ones. So injection molder over there. This is a classroom, so it's also we can arrange the tables for class. There's a large screen there for putting up PowerPoint and things like that. A rolling mill, cutters, furnaces, induction melter, several of those materials processing things in this lab. And again, there's some open space here that we hope to utilize. Probably do some rearranging. We're going to looked right there. We went past that. Some electrical work being done. I'm going to move the 3D printers out there to make some more room in that room for additional research space. As we go this way now, we're headed south. This is the west wing. And so down this long hallway, we just passed a small research computer lab for material science. I forgot to open that door as I was wandering past here. So this is the main office down here. So this is where the new faculty office would be, is in this area here. So this is our main office. Jennifer sitting behind the desk there. She's our program assistant. Laurel's at the copier there right now. Laurel McElstrom, one of our analytical scientists. And so we have 6 offices in here. My office is back there on the right. The copier is in there, which is also a printer. Again, offices. And then Jennifer's in this main cubicle. We put normally up pre-COVID, she was not in the plexiglass there, but we built that so she could be in there without her mask on. A couple of the faculty members there. And as we go out the office, there's a central area there that's open. Off to the left here, these are 2 offices for analytical scientists, and then some storage area in the back. If you go straight through those doors, straight ahead there, that would be the parking lot right outside there. So that's where faculty park. Down here then is the other wing of our labs. One of the things we've been doing is putting up pictures of all of our graduates. So these are all the people who graduated material science or material science and engineering. And our plan is to do the same thing with biomedical engineering. We're going to need some new wall space, but we're also getting a new building soon, relatively soon. We're in the design process of that. As I've mentioned in some emails, we're hoping within the next 5 years at the latest. So this is a seminar room shared with computer science and geology, but it is available for classrooms right now. It's arranged so that we have separation for meetings and things like that. Big screen over on the right there, so you can have small classes in here. And again, after COVID, once we're through the COVID era here, this would go back into a more traditional classroom setting space with the whiteboards and then the screen for projecting. Also a microwave and a sink. We also have a microwave inside the office there too, in our main office. So that bench or that long tabletop there, countertop there, normally has 2 or 3 computers on it for students to use. But again, with COVID, we removed those so we don't have students hanging out in the hallways. In here then is our classroom. And so again, you can probably see we put some clear plexiglass to separate. This normally seats 12. We have it down to 8 for COVID. We have some instrumentation in here also. This is one of the rooms that we're going to be doing some changing in with BME. We're going to be moving in some biological cabinets, moving some of these instruments upstairs to make this a more dual purpose. So it will serve BME probably cell culture and anything that needs a wet lab. In here is some more research instrumentation. IR, here's a small XRF. This is an energy dispersive X-ray fluorescence, a handheld unit, IR system, potentiometer. And then this is a scanning tunneling microscope on the right as we passed by there, X-ray diffraction, some sink space. And back here we have some other instrumentation, atomic force microscope in the black box there. And then X-ray full electron spectroscopy system. And back over here, a tensile tester, instrument tensile testing. Doer, so we can actually test at liquid nitrogen and colder temperatures. Storage. And again, we're going to probably do some moving stuff around here again as we add additional capacity, different instruments. A couple students working, they work for Dr. Jewell. Again, some furnace space back here. So again, we're going to do some remodeling of this area, condense things down, move things over, try to make this into the computer lab area for students to work. move the furnaces over in here into this separate room on this side. So even though showing you sort of what it looks like now, either when new faculty starts or certainly at the end of the next summer here, this coming summer, there'll be some changes to how this is all set up. One of the things we've done is put windows into our labs. The goal was to make sure that students passing by could see the exciting things that we do in engineering, and that has worked pretty well. So this is our electron microscopy facility. So in here, a few instruments, scanning Auger nanoprobe. That's what's looking straight ahead there. And then on the left here is a nano indenter and some hardness testers. And some furnaces back there in the storeroom, along with some storage. It used to be a dark room back when the STM or the scanning electron microscopes and the transmission electron microscopes were all done by film. So this is space now used for other instrumentation and storage. Across here is some materials preparation area, polishing suite, again for scanning electron microscopy type things. And again, all this stuff is open. Again, another student working here over interim over the break. We're not in classes yet. We won't start classes until February. So it's a little bit quiet, but with research students around, not completely quiet. There's always some students around working in the labs. Back here is a transmission electron microscope. So a 200 keV unit. The central area is again sample prep. Keep our liquid nitrogen back in here. In this room here are two confocal microscopes, sort of an industrial one straight ahead. Dr. Jules' group is using that right now to look at some superconducting wires. And then, as I'm struggling to take off the cover here during this, so this is another confocal microscope, fluorescence confocal microscope. Something that maybe for biomedical engineering could be very useful for some people's research. And then back here are two scanning electron microscopes. Both Hitachi instruments. This is an older one, an S4500. This was donated to us by 3M when they were moving up in models, getting a newer model. And then this is our S3400 Hitachi. This is probably the most widely used instrument we have in the Material Science and Engineering Center. We have students using it all the time for research projects. We use it for classes. And in the back here are some sample prep, some evaporators and things like that for coating samples. And again, you may have noticed there's a hood there on the left, and that hood is open for open use as needed. And then again, just to orient you, we're headed back towards the office then. So all of our labs are they're all close by here. The exception is Liz Glogowski. She has a lab up on 4th floor because most of her stuff is polymer chemistry, and so she needed more hood space, and the hoods are more prominently located up on the 4th floor. So again, we're just going to sort of show you get you reoriented here. Going back through here, so this is the main office, Material Science and Biomedical Engineering office. And now I'm going to take you up to where the one of the new biomedical engineering labs is going to be. So we're in the process of remodeling this. It's a pretty nice space. We're looking at not so much for the wet lab aspect of things, but probably more for the electronics and anything that doesn't need wet labs and needs more computer types of things. One of the things is because the new building is on the agenda here for very soon, the administration is not interested in spending a lot of money to remodel Phillips Hall. And so what we're trying to do is do what we can as efficiently as possible to get what we need done, but without spending a lot of extra money that's going to just go to waste when they end up tearing down the building after the new one's built. So this is the space. It's about, I think, 1,100 square feet. Was just a classroom, flat classroom. So what we're trying to do is we're going to put new lighting in, and we're going to bring in some tables, This area over here, some of the instrumentation that's downstairs that I said was going to move is going to come up here in this little alcove, and we're going to build this and block it off here. So they use that other door. As you can tell, lots of the start of the construction here. So that's just sort of a brief tour. I'll probably try to put together another video that shows the campus as a whole.